Hi guys, Pete here from Ashton's Cars. Today I'm going to show you around this 59 plate Citroen C1. These are really popular little cars. They tend to be the one that everyone starts off driving as well. They're ideal for learners and new drivers because they're cheap to run, got very low insurance, very easy to drive as well. So this particular car has come into part exchange from me. It was actually owned by a slightly more senior couple. So it wasn't a young kid's car. The people who own this car had used it as a second vehicle and as a runabout for doing shopping and local errands, and they've really looked after it. It's a brilliant little car. Now, I'll be totally honest with you, I'm probably a bit too honest to be doing this job successfully, but I'd rather be completely straight. I was going to do a little bit of paintwork on this car before I retailed it. Because there is a little bit of lacquer peel on the bumpers. I'll just show you what I mean. See by here, there's a tiny bit of lacquer peel there. You tend to get that a lot on red cars. I'm sure there's a scientific reason for it, but I don't know it. So we do tend to see that quite often, and I would normally respray the bumpers. The back one's actually a lot worse, and I'll show you that in a minute. But what I'm going to do instead, because I've got a lot of cars waiting to go for work on them in the workshops at the minute, and I'd rather get a quick turnaround on my part exchange, I'm going to offer it for sale as it is, a little bit cheaper, and then if I get a spare slot in the workshop, I'll send it off for paint and probably charge more for it. So as you see in the video now, it's just come in to me, literally just come in. I haven't even cleaned it. In fact, it came in yesterday, so it's been sat on the yard getting more dirty all day while I've been doing deliveries. But you know, it's really, really well presented. The people actually loved the car to the point that they cleaned and waxed it for me and hoovered it all out before I picked it up from them, which is always lovely to see. But I love buying cars off people who I know have loved those cars, because I know I'm not buying trouble. The car's always, it's very straight and original. It's got its original hubcaps on it. You can see underneath there the sills are all in good condition. They're not all clogged up and muddy. Well, the guy who had it was quite fastidious with it, in fact, so it's probably been cleaned after every journey. That's the kind of people they were. Now, coming around the back of it, this is the area really that was making me want to paint the car. So let's just sort of show you the worst bits of the car first. I don't know what's going on here. It's a sticker. It will come off. I don't know why it's been put on there, if it's covering a scratch or something, or whether someone just put it on there for effect. But that's there nevertheless. And then this corner is by far the worst bit of lacquer peel on the car. And I'm really showing you the warts and all version of this vehicle, but that's how it is, guys. It's not horrendous. Bear in mind, this is a 13-year-old Super Mini, and when I zoom out of it, it still looks quite straight and level, but there is quite a lot of serious lacquer peel on that corner. And I was going to respray the bumper. That's the only way of getting rid of that. Don't re-lacquer it. You've got to go back to basics, redo the whole thing. It might well end up that if this car's still here in a couple of weeks' time, that's what happens. But if someone wants it in between, they're going to save a lot more than just the cost of the paint. So, taking that to one side for a moment, that's not been caused from damage. That's been caused just because of the sun on red paint makes them either peel like that, or worse still, fade, like my Honda Jazz there, which is turning pink. That's, in fact, red cars for you. I love a red car. Red is my favourite colour, but it's not the greatest colour in terms of longevity of paint. Apart from those little marks, this car's in really good shape. It's not got any bumps on it. It's not been used by a new driver, so you know it's not really been abused in any way. The clutch and everything's good on it. It feels nice, feels very tight and reassuring. They're very good cars anyway. They've got a chain-driven engine, which actually comes from Mitsubishi. People think it's a Toyota engine, but Mitsubishi outsourced to Toyota outsourced to Mitsubishi for the Aygo, and these are based on a Toyota Aygo. So it's a Mitsubishi engine. It's Japanese tech. It works really well. It's quite robust. It doesn't tend to cause any major issues at all, and you know, because it's chain driven, you haven't even got the worry of a cam belt on it. They also tend to be an engine that tends to handle a hell of a lot of abuse. So even though they're driven by young kids a lot of the time, they tend to just keep going. Only thing you got to look out for on these, if you're looking to buy a Citroen C1, and this will go the same for a Peugeot 107 or a Toyota Aygo, because they are all the same car essentially. Just make sure the clutch is okay on them. And that's not just because people who drive these tend to be inexperienced and that wears the clutch down. The clutches on these are quite fragile. If it's had a lot of abuse, if it's done a lot of sort of hill starts where it's been slipped a lot, the clutches will wear quite quickly on these. They're not overly expensive to fix. Parts on these are very cheap anyway, but and you probably would put a clutch in it for 250 quid. But it is something to look out for. So just be aware of that if you're looking to buy one of these. Obviously, I've driven this particular car. I delivered their new car and brought this one back. I actually used it last night. I took it home with me and found it absolutely great. I actually think they're quite a fun car to drive. They've got a nice buzzy little engine, a little raspy thing, and they'll pop along at 70 all day. So this one drives beautifully. The clutch is great on it. It's exactly what I'd be looking for if I was looking to buy a Citroen C1. And if you're watching this video now looking to buy your youngest or your upcoming teenager a car for their 17th or 18th birthday to learn to drive in, what I would say is save yourself a couple of quid. Buy this one that has got the little bit of lacquer peel on it. Don't wait for me to do the lacquer peel and then pay extra, because they're going to scuff it anyway. You know, that's the reality of new drivers. Let them have something like this. Let them learn how to drive in it. Let them, you know, don't be to the point where if they accidentally, you know, graze it on a gatepost or something like that, that you're beside yourself. If you're buying a car, you know, relatively cheap like this, it's going to be ideal for you without having to worry so much about it. Let's show you inside it, shall we? Now, one thing I will point out on this is the 5-door model. I'll come to that in a second, but let's just show you the boot first. There's not a huge amount of boot to show you, but it has got a split fold seat. It's a simple design for a relatively simple car. Just one gas strut, you know, notice. Just one cord for the boot. That's how it comes as standard. It's not that one's missing. That's how these come. They're very sort of basic and easy to maintain, and that has made them cheap to manufacture and cheaper to sort of have parts for. So it's a good design. Into the back, again, a nice simple design on the windows. They just literally pop out to open them, which I think is quite cool. We used to have that back in the 80s and 90s on cars, but you don't see it much anymore. In the back here, it's a 4-seater car. Relatively spacious because it's got quite a high roof line. Obviously, I've got the seat quite far back on there at the minute, but I would have room to get in behind myself. So, you know, you will get 4 adults in here at a push. And what I do love in these is that actually when you get to the front of them, there's acres of room in it. Even someone 6 foot plus can get comfy in one of these. Let's just turn that down a minute. Why do I keep leaving the radio on? Just to show you it works, I suppose. Radio works, CD player. It's not got a lot more to sort of run through in here, really. The car's got central locking, but it's done off the key. It has got electric front windows, but apart from that, it's a basic car. That's exactly what you want in one of these, and people who buy them tend to want them for that reason. We've got a little rev counter there, which I think even that was an option. I'll start it up. It's a 3-cylinder engine, so it's got a nice little rasp to it. Start straight away off the key. Let's give it a little rev. I actually think they sound quite sporty, to be honest with you. They're quite a giggle to drive, these are. And cup holders we've got on here. We've got the socket for your phone charger. I just noticed one more thing is there is a little burn mark there on that seat. I don't even think that would have been from the previous owners because they were certainly not smokers. It's probably from someone many years ago who owned it. I mean, we are talking here about a 13-year-old car. But yeah, overall, it's just very nice and clean inside. It's simple, it's elegant. The red panels on the inside match the outside of the car. The dials are crystal clear. The visibility is amazing. It's easy to drive. And if you're looking for a car for your young daughter or son, I think this is actually the perfect vehicle. And if you're looking for something that's just cheap to run with 20 quid tax, £20 a year, that's all it costs to tax this. It's perfect. It does like 55, 60 to the gallon, 20 quid tax. Parts are cheap, as I said. So they're just brilliant little cars to buy for whatever reason you want a cheap, reliable car. So not much more to show you on it. If it's not sold in a few weeks, you might see another video pop up of it with the bumpers done, and I'll show you how we did them. But I'm going to sell it as it is for now, in the hope that someone's interested in having a little bargain. So my number's 07932 873 646 if this car's of interest to you. give me a call. And of course, we do offer nationwide delivery, so wherever you are in the country, let me know and I'll arrange delivery to you. We're based in South Wales. We can do viewings here, and obviously you're more than welcome to view cars and pick them up from us, but we do offer this delivery service, which most people tend to favour. Also, we're happy to take your old car as a part exchange, so again, let me know what you've got and I'll work out the best deal I can for you. Thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Obviously, you'll probably see a link come up now to subscribe to our channel. I would appreciate it if you would hit that link, because it does help me out a lot, and it helps me being able to upload content like this and continue to do this service. So hit the link, subscribe to our channel for more car buying advice, more cars for sale like this one. And thanks ever so much for watching. I'll give you my number one more time. It's 07932 873 646. Have a great day wherever you are. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.